Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Survival Minecraft. Last time we worked on the base a little bit, we made some bridges outside, and these doors have since been blocked off because we've been getting, creepers and zombies inside. We made these bridges and little buildings on the other side, I should say fake buildings, and in between episodes, Desi came over and made this zero-tech sugarcane farm because we were in desperate need of sugarcane because we have a lot of gunpowder and we were making rockets for the rocket shop, but we ran out of sugarcane since the last design broke. I never actually went back and rebuilt it. So she was kind enough to come build this and put it in the spot where we were kind of figuring out what to put here. For pretty much the entire season, the spot has been here, and she managed to fit this little sugarcane farm in there. So good job with that. So today we're going to be working in the gaming district a little bit. I have a game idea that I want to build. And before we do that, the only thing I want to do for this machine, instead of having the collection up here, since we have the big storage system downstairs, I think it would be cool to just have it route, since it's directly in line right here, just have it route directly into this chest here, which previously was our quartz storage. I moved that over here because we really don't have that much. Let's see if I can click it without a cursor. Nailed it. Yeah, we only have this much quartz. I thought we would be using a lot more of this at the beginning of the season because I was originally using some quartz in the ceilings up there. So I'll just go ahead and poke back here and see what's going on. So it looks like she's got the hoppers all in a line up here, as you can see, all going into those two and then collecting down here into the chests. So I think what we'll do, since it's in line with the left side of these, I believe. Yeah, it's right there. So it's in line with the left side. I think what we'll do is make the hoppers on this side point to those ones, and then we will direct them all downwards. All right, so now we got all the hoppers facing straight down into this one, and then it goes right into the chest system down below. So these should automatically start piling in on the bottom over here. So let's go ahead and test that before I close this up. I don't know if there was anything left in that system already. Yeah, it looks like we got a hopper, which I can't grab because my inventory is full. Go ahead and ditch this a little bit, get this back, and put the hopper back in the redstone chest. So it does appear that that's working, but let's go ahead and drop in some sugarcane just to make sure before we close this up. So we will go in here and drop a couple stacks, and then we can drop a couple stacks in here and maybe turn this on as well, just to make sure that nothing is getting lost in the system. We'll grab these, and then let's go down below and see if they are being collected. So yeah, it looks like it's all coming in. We'll just go ahead and run this for a little bit, and I'll go ahead and drop these in right now. That way we don't lose anything in the system. So we'll go ahead and close this up since it's all nice and working. And looks like we got the perfect amount of terracotta. So yeah, now this is a sealed up system. All we have to do is just come over here and turn the switch on, and we'll start getting sugarcane. So that's pretty cool. That's all I really wanted to do around the base today. I was in a good rhythm of upgrading some bridges and some rooms and extra things around the base, and I was really getting excited to expanding it and making it look finished for the end of the season. But I got this really cool idea in my head for a game, and as far as I can tell, it hasn't been done before in survival Minecraft, and not in the way that I'm picturing it, at least. And I tried to search a little bit because I was like, someone had to have thought of this before or done it, but I see creative and servers doing it that are set up differently, but the way that I want to do it is a little bit harder to do in survival and requires a lot of resources. So I want to go head over to the gaming district and I'll tell you all about it. Oh wow, looks like someone's been working on this tunnel. This used to be netherrack, and yeah, it didn't really look very creative, but yeah, this looks really cool with all this honeycomb and honey blocks, and looks like yellow terracotta. Maybe we should add some gold to this. I don't know who's designing this right now, but I'm going to ask in Discord and see if they wouldn't mind me adding some gold, because we got a ton of gold and I think that would really make this thing pop. Looks like someone left some trash. How rude. I'm just flying around the gaming district looking for a good spot to put this game. It's going to need a little bit of space, kind of like this. It's a game called Four Corners. If you guys haven't heard of Four Corners, it's basically a game where there's four corners of the map or the section of the game, and they're all colored or labeled in some way. And at the end of each round, you usually have a time frame or someone chosen to pull a lever or select whatever at random. One of those corners gets selected to be out of the game. And the way I've seen this done in creative is they teleport them out to a lobby, or they'll, use commands to kill them or pour lava or whatever. But I haven't seen a version where they put the people in, in a corner and then they get blown up by TNT. So I think that's what I want to do, because we do have a lot of gunpowder available and I do have a good amount of sand. And I think that would be a really cool way to play this game, is just have one section selected at random. The timer goes out, and then it's selected after the timer, obviously. Everyone picks their corner, the timer goes out, a random corner selected, and then either TNT rains from the sky to where they're at, and they'll obviously be standing in water so I don't blow up the building, or it'll pop up through the ground and then everyone can watch them die. And then the game keeps going until there's only one person left. So I think this is a good spot over here because it's far enough away from everything that if something did go wrong, it wouldn't completely destroy anything. I am going to have to do a bit of digging because I'm going to need some room for redstone below, but I think this will be enough space. So let me try to mark out what I'm thinking, and then we'll go ahead and dig this out. All right, so I got the 4 sections marked out, and I have enough area dug out below that I think I can fit more than enough redstone. I initially wanted to keep it lower than the blast zone, but I don't know really how far that is. And 2, I think because the water's going to be up there, that it should be safe from it anyways. But there's going to be a few pieces of redstone that go down here, and I'll try to explain them as best I can. And this will kind of help me get a mental checklist of what I need to do. And I don't really know how to do this all off the top of my head. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and experimenting to see how to wire this all together. But initially I need a button to, someone to hit that either will start a timer, and then the selection process will be random within that timer, or the button is pressed once everyone's selected and it just immediately selects a corner to kill off. I'm really leaning more towards the first choice, where you push a button and then that starts, maybe a 10 to 15 second timer where some lights will be going off, maybe some note blocks will be playing. And at the end of that timer, then a section is randomly selected and then gets blown up. And to prevent people from switching sides or trying to escape, I think at the end of the timer, before it picks a corner, I want to have pistons in the middle where each section has a 2-block gap, 2-high gap like this, where you can get through each side freely. But then at the end of the timer, say a piston down here pushes the block up to where you can't. Oh, that was a bad example because I didn't put 2 blocks down, but now you can't get to the other sections, but you can still visually see. So I think I want to use glass pretty much for all the walls except for these bottom barriers, because I don't want to be able to see the pistons. I'll use something, maybe just the colored concrete for the colored sides for those. All right, we've just been spending time gathering the resources. I went and got a bunch of glass, made a bunch of concrete, and then crafted all the dispensers and a bunch of things that I need as far as redstone, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough. I spent last night testing this in a test world, in a creative world, just to make sure that everything is going to work out the way I think, and designed all the circuits myself, even though I'm sure someone has found a more efficient and better design. I really wanted to challenge myself to do all this from just from not from memory, but from things that I've learned over the years of playing and messing around with redstone. So I'm by no means an expert, and I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing all this stuff, but it was a really cool challenge to figure out all the little modules of this machine and figuring out how they all work and seeing if they tie together, and just kind of troubleshooting the issues as they came, because there was one issue with when I turned the machine on, it needed to reset between rounds and things like that. So yeah, it was a pretty cool challenge, and I'm pretty happy with myself for doing that. And we're just going to head over back to the gaming area and we'll get started building. So yeah, we'll see you in a minute. All right, well, I got the layout pretty much set up. So this is how the game's going to go. Push a button in the middle to trigger the start of the game, or maybe on one of these sides, there'll be a little trigger, and then the timer will go. And I think I have it timed about 30 seconds, and it's adjustable. So with the amount of comparators you use, the time can go up or down, and little note blocks will sing. And then at the end of that timer, the note blocks will stop to let you know that a selection is about to be made. All these pistons will be pushed up. There'll be a block right here. So each section will have a block that gets pushed up to this level right here, and you won't be able to run across because there'll be a block right here going across. So you won't be able to get across So your selection is final, and then it'll trigger a 4-way randomizer, which I designed, and then it will dispense TNT in one of these 4 areas. And there'll also be water in here, so it doesn't destroy anything. It'll just destroy the player. So I think 9 dispensers is enough. It was a good size to not have to do overkill with the TNT, and then this will kind of save resources because TNT is kind of an expensive resource when you don't have a very well working creeper farm and you have to go mining for all the sand. So this is kind of the layout of it. I'm not going to design the top part yet because there's no redstone or anything up there, but I have dug out, hey, what's up, sheep? I have dug out this under here so I can design all the stuff. I'm hoping it'll all fit. When I designed it in the creative world, I had it all spread out because I didn't know how big each module was going to be. So it'll be interesting to see how I fit it all in here. It should fit logically, but one of the things I didn't really test was the wiring of all the pistons at the end of it, but I have the redstone to trigger it. I just have to wire it all up. So hopefully this all works out. Let me get all the intricate bits done, and then we'll try to do a test run. What I've learned about redstone is that a lot of it is just dealing with the problems that arise when you're building, because you can come up with a circuit like this and then realize it's not going to fit. So in this section over here, because the piston line redstone is right here, if I had the blocks up here with redstone torches, it would actually trigger this line. So I had to scrap this design and come up with something more compact, which ended up being like this. So each of these blocks right here will trigger this whole row of 3 dispensers. So, and then this block will trigger all 3 of those blocks. So it's kind of the same thing as what's been going on over here, but just more compact, and it doesn't interfere with the redstone line. So this will be a good system. I already tested it and all 9 trigger at the same time, so that's good. And yeah, we just have to layer that a couple times and get started with the brains of it. All right, so it's a couple hours later and I have some more progress. I had to redo the redstone signal for the pistons up here because what was happening is this section was a little bit too small and the torches were actually hitting against the redstone line, causing the pistons to go up. So I had to redo all of these, and as you can see, they're nice and compact and nice and even. All of this is done. And then over here we have the game start, where it starts upstairs. It'll be in the yellow section. So I have the yellow line coming down here, which I can do just by clicking this button. And what that does is puts a pulse lengthener right here, which feeds into this pulse lengthener, because if this one doesn't get a long enough signal, it just triggers a loop, and we don't want that. So we want this signal to stay on, and this is the official game timer. Once this is all the way on, it'll push the piston over here, and that will allow the note blocks to run in a loop until the signal runs out, signaling that the game round is over. And also with this initial push, it goes through a delayed signal to this observer, which actually starts the note block sequence. So it's a 2-step process to start the note blocks. You got this to start it, and then you have this one to actually control that it stays on and off for the rest of the game. The next step is 2 parts. We want one part to actually trigger the randomizer, which will go into a 2-way randomizer, which feeds 2 separate 2-way randomizers, making a 4-way randomizer. So the first way randomizer picks option A or B, and then say you pick option A, then that option picks A or B. So you get A here, B here, and then the other A and the other B over here. So you have 4 different options of output. So we want that to happen only when the signal comes off. And then we also want a signal that when the game is done or close to done, which I might have to put this in a different spot, but when the game is actually done before it triggers one of the randomizers, we want it to push all the pistons up. So right now it looks like the pistons are up, so I'm going to have to invert the signal here, and we want the signals to be, or we want the pistons to be down for the duration of the game. What we want from there is the pistons to be extended to prevent movement, and that will happen while the randomizer is being selected. The dispensers blow up, and then after a few seconds after that, we want the pistons to come back down so people can move around and make it over here to actually trigger the game, because I couldn't find a way to get this game start button to be in the middle without messing with these pistons. So I just moved it over here on the side just to kind of keep it out of the way, and everything's separate. So yeah, 2 steps right now is to hook up the randomizer and then hook up the pistons to prevent everyone from getting in. That's the next step in the process, and I'll go ahead and get started on that. The randomizer is all built. I just need to test it, but this is the idea of what's going to happen. You have a non-stackable item like a sword or armor or whatever, and then a stackable item, and it's going to randomly pick the 2 because droppers just randomly pick one of the items to shoot out to the hopper, and then it'll shoot back down. And this comparator will put out a signal of 1 or 3, I believe. And so if it just shoots out a signal of 1, it's going to trigger this repeater, which will trigger this system, and this will do the same thing. It has a non-stackable and stackable available, it'll do the same thing, pick 1 or 3. If it picks 1, then this is the signal that'll be selected. If it picks 3, then it'll pick this signal and it'll light up this lamp, but it'll also lock this repeater right here, so it can't be triggered by the first signal that's going to be hitting it anyway, so it'll prevent this from being selected if this one is selected. Same thing on the first one. If it picks 3, it'll end up triggering this repeater, which will lock that one, preventing this whole side from being triggered at all, and then it'll send the signal to this randomizer here, which has the same thing, two different items, and that'll trigger this whole system, which is the mirror image of that. So you basically have 3 of the same system. You have one that triggers either side, and then either side will trigger either side of those. So you have 4 outputs, and then each of these will be wired up to each relevant section. So let's go ahead and test this out. All it should need is a redstone pulse to go to it, and that should turn that on. Yep, it's going to the right side, and you see this is the one out of all 4 that gets selected. Let's test it a couple more times just to make sure it is random. We don't want to do that to the repeater. So this time now we have the far one. Let's make sure that it'll get to the left side. Okay, now we have the left front, so that's good, and let's just keep going until we get at least 1 from each signal. So now we have the left back. So now we've had 1 of each at least, and we can just keep testing it. Now it's the left front, and we'll test it one more time. And so the main test of this is actually going to be when we trigger the system from upstairs. Click this on, it's going to turn this whole thing on, and then it's going to unpower this. So now it's ready for a signal, and at the end of this whole cycle, when this redstone torch powers back on at the end of the cycle, for one, this piston will shut off, shutting off the music, and then this will be starting the random selector. So let's go ahead and check that out when this music stops, or this pulse runs out. It looks like it's about to run out pretty soon, so we should have a signal here pretty quick. And it picked this one, so anyone that was in yellow would immediately be killed by TNT. We just have to wire that part up. Well, I can't say for sure that I know exactly how this is working, but I have a double pulse coming out of this, and one just triggers this and reverses the signal, and the other one adds a pulse lengthener. Both of these work together to initially pull the pistons down for when the game starts. So when the game starts, they should stay down. Let's go ahead and test that. And then as soon as the music stops, the light goes off. The music should stop and the piston should come up. And then you hear the click of the TNT coming out. And then after a short while, the blocks will come down. So I think this is all working. I think maybe what we'll do, we can do this, is we will put something in each one of the dispensers, maybe not each of them, but maybe just one in the middle ones. And we'll see, we'll drop a redstone. Actually, let's do the red concrete since we have it. We'll drop one in there, and we'll drop one in here, yellow, and green. Do I have any green on me? I do. Drop a green in there, and over here we'll drop a blue, and then we'll go ahead and test the system, and we'll see if we live. I don't know which side we should pick this time. Music's going, the doors are down. I think this time we will go with blue. I'll stick with the blue side, so we'll be stuck in here. Of course, there's going to be glass and different things around here to keep you stuck in, and I also have to make the doorway to get out too. But oh yeah, so let's pick our blue. Once that light goes off, that's kind of a warning it's going to be done soon. Listen for the music to stop, and the pistons will come up, and it looks like the yellow side died that time. So yeah, this is working pretty good. I think I'm ready to at least start decorating this, and then once we get everything decorated, I think at that point, then we'll start adding the water and TNT, because I don't want to have TNT loaded anywhere and accidentally break a block and set something off. So I think that's good for now. Let's go ahead and start decorating this thing up. All right, well, we got the whole thing finished up. The design is all done. The redstone is working. Everything's been tested. The only thing to do now is to throw in some TNT and actually see what this thing can do. So let me fill these up. As you can see, I'm very limited on TNT. So between episodes, I'm gonna have to go resource gathering a lot more TNT, but let me fill these up and we will do a test. All right, no turning back, you guys. I got the dispensers all filled up. I got all my armor off, and we're going to try this out. I think I'm gonna pick green. I think that's the one that I want to do. So hopefully we don't get killed. Wish me luck. The light turned off. The wall should be coming up. And... oh, it's torture. Oh, yeah, we made it. Awesome. And nothing blew up. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I need to try this again. I think for this one, I'm just going to run around in a circle until it stops me, and that's the one that we're stuck on. The light's turned off. The wall should be coming up. Oh, we got lucky again. Well, I have to say I'm very excited that this worked out with no kinks whatsoever. We had no damage to the building and we didn't even die from testing it. So yeah, next time we'll meet up with some of the other members and we will do a group event or we'll do something with some other people. So I'm going to save the TNT for that. For some other people. I don't want to waste all the TNT on myself and kill myself trying to have some fun. So I'd rather have fun with friends. So anyways, that's going to be all the time I have for this episode. I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it to this point of the episode, leave me a comment and let me know. If you want to consider subscribing if you haven't already and hitting the like button, yeah, do that too, because all that goes a long way in helping out the channel. Even just a little bit helps. So thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.